More than 80 killed in U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean Sea since September, and 15,000 troops in the region, as Venezuelan airspace declared closed by President Trump. December 1989. U.S. forces invade Panama to remove its leader, Manuel Noriega, and bring him to the U.S. to face drug charges. At least 500 civilians died. More than 3 decades later, Panama still struggles with corruption and drug trafficking. The pattern repeats across the region. Haiti, occupied by the U.S. multiple times, remains the hemisphere's poorest country. The 1983 U.S. Grenada invasion and the 1973 U.S.-backed military coup in Chile killed thousands, creating migration waves still felt today.
Even as the economics maybe have gone poorly due to both, mismanagement, corruption, and also the sanctions, obviously, which are intended to sabotage the economy. Even as that has happened, there is still a nationalist sentiment that is strong in Venezuela. And people like Rubio and Trump, they don't understand that at all.
Nicaragua offers a stark parallel. The U.S.-backed Contra war left about 30,000 dead in the country.
Unfortunately, the National Guard has been used for the last 40-some years as the instrument of domination for the United States of America.
Despite this history, supporters of military action in Venezuela cite the 1989 Panama invasion as a model. Analysts warn the comparison is misleading.
Panama is an incredible example because the U.S. had over 10,000 troops inside the country at the time. So they were able to simply move those troops into place. There was no invasion needed. Of course, Panama was a tenth of the size population-wise at the time, and it's a very small country where the U.S. had a major role. There's almost nothing similar about it other than the drug kind of pretext for it.
Some Latin American governments remain notably silent over the military buildup, wary of U.S. unpredictability. Even some Venezuelan Americans who want President Nicolás Maduro removed fear the chaos of a change in government.
From the U.S. perspective, when they see a government like Maduro's, they'd prefer, in many cases, to have that government gone, and they're willing to take the risk of chaos and violence because they won't experience it. But for Venezuelans who have ties to the country, even if they really are strong opponents of Maduro, they're going to have concerns about that because their families are going to be the ones impacted.
70% of Americans oppose military action. How the U.S. will proceed remains unclear. President Trump has been very vocal against past U.S. interventionism, though he hasn't ruled military action out. For now, sanctions and diplomatic pressure remain Washington's primary tools in Venezuela. Nitza, Soledad, Perez, CGTN, Miami.